Now the RC engine, we need to undo this nut here and the other end. 12-inch shifter back into play there. Everything's sitting in the right place. On there like that. Hold it down. Crack. There we go. Only undo your nut about a turn or so, because when we put the shock, pull it, give it a tap, we don't want everything flying out. There we go there. Undo. Just like that. That's loose. Fit your puller to this end. Just like that. Take your puller off now. As you can see, that's loose. The secret why the crack with the hammer is you're not, there we go, it's all off. You're not doing a lot of grunting and straining to undo your retaining nut, and also only undo the retaining nut about a turn, probably no more than that, because when you crack the centre bolt like that, you whack it, when it lets go off the taper off your crank here, that is probably coming off at 200 or 300 miles an hour. It flies off very quick, and unless you've got another pair of hands holding this for you, you're only working on your own, you need to be held. So by leaving the nut on, this won't come flying off and the rest of your engine flying off in the other direction. So there you go, just like that. Get your side cutters and remove your key like that. Now the other end, we've loosened it off. We have loosened it off just enough there. Pressing on the centre bolt, because we left it in there for safety reasons, so this will go flying one way, nobody to hold on to it. It only can travel a short way before it reaches the end of the bolt. So tighten him up. Give it a whack. As you can see, it's loose. Take your cap screws out. There's a little bit of a secret how to get this machined clutch adapter to fit nice and snugly and firm on your taper of your crank brasso. Because we're going to wash this engine up anyway, so dribble a little bit on the taper of your crank there, like that. Then get your clutch adapter, hold him upright, hold the other end of the crank, and just wiggle it back and forward. And because the brasso is a very, very fine abrasive, very, very fine, it'll seat nicely. It'll take some of the high spots off. You can see the blackness in there. That's the brasso working. You can see how well it's sitting on there. It's taken the machine marks off your inside of your adapter, and that will sit down much tighter. Just a little trick. Right, we've got this stage. Now what we need to do is remove the barrel. As you've noticed, as soon as you have an open area of your, or open port on your engine, always close it off, because no greater enemy of an internal combustion engine is that of dirt and grime. So we'll crack the cap screws, and the thing is, don't undo one at a time and undo it completely. Crack each one about half a turn going from corner to corner. So we'll undo this one, so that's cracked, turn them around, do the opposite one. That way it lessens the chance of putting a stress in it and causing a minute or miniature crack that you wouldn't even see. Crack that. That one. And the last one, which is here. Just leave them loose, leave the barrel on, and just now crack these four in here. Again crosswise. 1, half a turn, 2, 3, and 4. So they're all half a turn loose. Now we can just spin them off. So the barrel is now loose. Here we go there. Just pull him off, and there you have your piston. You've only got the two halves of your crank there now to undo, and you've already loosened these bolts. So there's your barrel bolts. Leave them up. Don't leave them upside down if you can avoid it. Spin these off, and now you can see it opening up. You see the gap opening up there now. Just draw, just hold your conrod and piston with 2 fingers there, and just slowly draw your, see it coming off here in the housing, just pull him off there. You're holding it with 2 fingers so it doesn't fall out and do any damage, possibly crack your piston or something like that. Just hold it steady. Now you can just pull the crank out like that. So there you go. Wrap him up in a plastic bag or a bit of cloth, because you don't want dirt to get onto it while you're working. Put your rod and piston assembly in your plastic bag and put them aside, so it needs to be kept as clean as possible. Cleanliness, I can't stress that enough. We only have one seal, which is at the bottom end, so that's easy enough. We can pick him out with a, just hold your housing flat on the bench. Just put your screwdriver in there and pull him out like that. We're not worried about damaging it, because we're not going to reuse it. You will see there's a slight shoulder here on one end casing, the one that's holding the 2 bearings. There's 2, and obviously they have to be kept apart or stop them from sliding through. So if you look in your parts book or your manual that comes with your engine, it has a snap ring in a groove between the 2 bearings, snap ring or circlip. So we can't punch through from one side to the other. So what I would do is, we just got that shoulder there, nice shoulders, right angle shoulders on the vise. Just nip him up. It's only just to hold it steady there. Then one of your favourite old fairly blunt screwdrivers. You can actually feel when you hook onto the front bearing, all you do is just tap it one side, tap it the other. You can feel it starting to move. Just short, sharp blows. Only little by little. Just check that it's moving. You can see that's almost flush now, where it was quite recessed into there. Not doing any damage there by holding it. I can't set it on this face. As you can see, there's the locating dowels. So if you put that on the housing, and because you're not holding it by hand here, you need to hold it firmly. So you would struggle to hold on that little shoulder in your big vise out in the garage. So that's starting to move. Just slowly, bit by bit. Feel is the big thing. Just don't overdo it. That's why you use such a tiny toy hammer. As soon as you get it so far, you can get the screwdriver on edge like that. Go down, pick up the edge of the inner race of the bearing. Keep going, just keep tapping. Gently, side to side. It's almost out. And there it goes. To get this one out, instead of sitting it on the vise there, just your old pipe adapter, set it on in your housing like that, on your heavy flat plate, or if you haven't got it out, you can go out the garage now and tap it out. That's where you're already used as a punch 1/2 inch socket extension on there. Job done. Now you can see the circlip in there. That's the divider between your inner and outer bearings. You notice the inner bearing is completely open. Retrieve this one off the floor. You can see that one, it's got an outside shield. Both of them are sealed because this is grease filled, and that is your outer bearing for in there like that, and your inner one goes in here like that. Okay, so that's that one. Again, setting this is the other housing. Set him on your pipe adapter, and don't set it on here like that. Too likelihood of doing damage because you're hitting the center, and it will. I mean, you could promote a very minute crack. So the best thing is you got your pipe sits just in there like that. That's about 40 mil outside the size of your bearing. Set your housing on here like this. Again, your faithful, use the other one. Use the other hammer that we made up. That's it. Your bearings have now been removed, and there we go. What I'll do is we'll go away and wash up the two housings, and the flywheel was a bit dirty. We'll wash those bits up, and then we'll come back and start assembling. Bearings actually aren't too bad. A little bit rough on that one. It's not too bad. So obviously we're getting enough lubrication, but you can feel when you move it sideways, you can feel a bit of movement there. So that probably is why I was getting somewhat excessive end float. So I'll go away and wash up the bits.